Prolific tornado outbreak in recorded history.
Hey you! Relax! Domino's large one-topping pizzas are just $7.99 when you carry out. But don't act now! This deal's here through this time next year, at least! So take the scenic route on down to...
my nose.
1 second you know your dream's protected. And then...
Is everything okay?
the police have been dispatched. Well, we still do.
On April 9th, 2015, the people in northern Illinois witnessed one of nature's most incredible spectacles. For those out of harm's way, this tornado was extremely beautiful, but for those in the path, it was a nightmare come true. Leading up to April 9th, forecasters at the Storm Prediction Center were well aware of the upcoming severe weather threat. All ingredients required for tornadoes were there: the shear, the moisture, and instability, or CAPE. However, the SPC initially only put out a 5% chance for tornadoes, which isn't really high for spring peak tornado season. But early morning, forecasters noted that the atmosphere was much more volatile than what was initially anticipated. So around midday, an area of 10% hatched tornado potential was introduced over northern Illinois. The forecasters specifically mentioned a chance for strong tornadoes. Fast forward a few hours. At 4 o'clock, a large complex of storms was over the Quad Cities, but those were not the real threat. It was actually the small storm to the east that was rapidly intensifying, eventually dominating the atmosphere. Just by random chance, another storm popped up behind this dominant cell and gave the dominant storm a little push in the right spot, and at 6:39, a tornado formed north of Franklin Grove, Illinois. The Rochelle tornado started out as a tall, skinny rope, and as it moved northeast, it produced its first damage, directly impacting Crest Foods' distribution plant, leaving a large hole in the warehouse. As the tornado moved northeast, it began showing signs of intensification, now leaving a distinct mark on the ground. It was right at this time when Derek Myers began recording the tornado with this incredible view from his front porch. In his video, you can see how highly visible the tornado was. It is also clearly much stronger than it was earlier in its life. While the tornado was blocked by trees from Derek's point of view, Lewis Williamson was recording the tornado from much closer. In his video, you can see the incredible structure of this tornado, a compact core at the center of a much larger, highly visible mesocyclone. The core of the tornado was like a black hole, violently pulling in everything at the ground. Up to this point, the tornado was fairly well behaved, mostly staying over open fields. However, it was now targeting several homes on the north side of Rochelle. As it moved into more populated areas, the tornado was caught on security camera as it passed by a home, missing it by less than 50 yards.
I don't know, let's go with it.
But that home was lucky. The first home to come into contact with the violent core of the tornado was completely destroyed. This moment was captured by Wayne Humphrey, who was recording the beastly tornado from the north. You can see just how incredible this tornado was to witness, which is extremely unconventional because tornadoes this strong are usually shrouded in rain. But this was not a normal tornado.
Is it gonna work?
The tornado was now moving towards Cherry Hills, a nice little subdivision on the north side of Rochelle. The first home impacted was the Johnson family home, where all walls were wiped off of the foundation. But somehow, their red Porsche was completely untouched. Fortunately, the Johnsons had taken cover and were safe. the Whitaker home next door suffered an even more tragic fate, where 2 dogs died from the tornado. Thankfully, Joanna Whitaker was not home at the time. The Van Vickle home was the next one hit, where the town's sheriff lived. Unsurprisingly, this home was completely leveled. There was also a dog inside, but by a miracle, the dog only suffered minor cuts and bruises. The Dickey family home across the street was the next house directly impacted by the core of the tornado. It was completely swept off of its foundation, leaving only the basement. The tornado then engulfed the Haight and Belmont homes, where both families were sheltering in their basements. One of the Belmont's cars was thrown over 300 feet into their neighbor's backyard, and another was thrown into their own basement, trapping them underneath the debris. The Belmonts had to wait for emergency services to help them escape after the tornado, and by a miracle, the Haight family was untouched. The Price family's home was also totally destroyed, even though it was just south of the main core of the tornado. The intense moments of the tornado as it tore through Cherry Hills was captured by Anthony Camusa, who had a completely unobstructed view. In his video, you can clearly see the unfathomable motion of the tornado at the ground, raw strength that's only seen in the highest caliber tornadoes. The beast was now moving over open fields with a beautiful bright white appearance, which is somewhat ironic considering it had just wiped out a neighborhood, almost killing a few different families. As the tornado moved northeast, the violent core threaded the needle between multiple farmsteads. Even though it wasn't directly impacting any structures, the tornado was leaving visible marks on the ground, showing it still possessed extreme winds. The tornado was now moving towards the intersection of Highway 251 and 64, the location of a small local restaurant, Grubstakers. Owner Ava Murtoska was aware of the oncoming tornado from the warning she received on her phone and was able to get all her employees and customers into the storm shelter just before the tornado directly impacted the restaurant. Simultaneously, the tornado impacted multiple homes, which stood no chance for the extreme tornadic winds. All of the homes were destroyed, and their debris was carried hundreds of yards into the field behind them, where a smart car and mangled dumpster were found in the field among the debris. The tornado overtaking this intersection was captured just down the road by Dave Walker. This extremely frightening video.
The Icon G2 ratchet lineup just got even bigger. New styles and expanded sizes deliver tight arc swings. Back trip, all powered by innovative split ball technology for ultimate strength and durability pros expect.
After passing over the intersection, the tornado was now on a direct collision course with the Dilling Farm, which unfortunately ended up taking a direct hit from the core of the tornado, completely shredding apart a 2-story home, shearing a concrete silo right at its base, and debarking nearby trees. All that remained of the farmstead was a grain silo filled with corn. Thankfully, the Dilling family was not present at this time, since they were at their main home just down the road, where they took this ominous photo of the tornado right before they went down into their storm cellar. Right after impact.